What is up, everybody? Random Random Man here, aka RRM, bringing you another rapid movie review, aka RMR, and it is for Anatomy of a Fall. Now, the plot of this courtroom drama thriller basically follows a writer named Sandra trying to prove her innocence in the death of her husband Samuel. Now, this film is the winner of the Palme d'Or at this year's Cannes Film Festival where it premiered, and a lot of acclaim surrounding it was due to Sandra Hüller's lead performance as Sandra. Hüller gives one of my favorite film performances of the year thus far in playing a character who is layered and trying to compose herself amidst all this incriminating evidence that is put against her with the death of her husband, and with how she tries to balance it all out. One, with the language barrier in that her character is German, who also knows how to speak French, though not well, and English, also being a mom, and all of this coming together. This made for something that was so magnetic in just watching it all on screen with how she carries scene to scene. The strength of the acting also carries over into the supporting performances, with those like Swan Arlaud playing the lawyer of Sandra, who is trying to realistically ground her and help present a case that she is innocent. There's also Antoine Renaud as the prosecutor, who is ruthless during the cross-examination scenes. Samuel Thies also gets his time to shine during a pivotal flashback moment. And then the big supporting performance I have to give a big shout out to is Milo Machado-Graner as Sandra and Samuel's son, Daniel, who is the only other witness on the scene of his dad's death with his mom, and he is visually impaired, but is also asked to do some things, including a reenactment and also recounting how his home life was. His performance is also one of the best of the year because of how quiet he is and all of the contemplating that this character does, and with everything else that is unraveling, it's a lot to take in for a young kid. This notion also applies to the vision and scope from director Justine Triet, who co-wrote the screenplay with Arthur Harari. At first, the title inciting incident is what gets the movie going, but with how it unravels, it does at first play like a procedural. Then as we go back and forth between the courtroom drama setting and some of the home life presented in between, it makes for a gripping and human story. It never loses its sense of engagement with how there is a lot of back and forth between the talking, the aforementioned cross-examination scenes from the defense and the prosecution, and then just seeing how this is affecting the main characters, mostly Sandra and Daniel. It also helps that on a technical scale, the movie isn't just stagnant with how it moves. Sometimes we get perspectives of cameras that the authorities are using either to do a previously mentioned reenactment scene or also to get us into basically the headspace of the characters and how sometimes shaky or unstable everything is, because it is just that. It is quite the specific situation that the characters are put into to question what has led up to this point with this death that could have been a murder, accidental, a bunch of different possibilities that are just thrown into the mix, and with it all running at just about 2.5 hours in length, it just flew by. And now leading into awards season, this film looks to have hopeful chances in some big categories, except for one, Best International Feature Film at the Oscars specifically, where it was surprisingly not the French submission. Regardless of awards buzz, this is one of the best movies of the year thus far, at least here in the US. It has been slowly expanding to more theaters nationwide, and luckily for me, it opened at my local theater chain this past weekend. So if you have a chance to go see this at a theater near you, I highly recommend it. With that, my final verdict for Anatomy of a Fall is 4.5 out of 5 stars. Thank you all, as always, for watching. Be sure to like this video, comment on what you thought of Anatomy of a Fall, social media links in the description, subscribe to my channel for more, and I'll catch you on the next movie review.